Welcome to episode 12 of Go the Mission. We out here broadcasting once again from St. Joseph, Michigan. I am your host, Corey Johnson. Missions is my passion, and I'm thankful for another opportunity to educate, enlighten, and encourage those of you who are interested in missions. Whether this is your first time listening or not, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this with somebody. Just search for Go the Mission on just about any podcast provider like Spotify, Apple, Google, and many more. You can also find the show on YouTube. Now, my guest today is a former student, one of the funniest and unconventionally hardworking kids I know, a graduate of Palau Mission Academy, and a current soldier. You see, I'm out here repping today. I had to rep it today, even though, plans change. But it's all good. A current soldier in the U.S. Army, Lincoln Kikuo. What's up, my man?
Sir, what's up? How you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm so glad that you found the time to do this. To me, this is it's so awesome. You're actually in the States here right now, which is cool. And we got to meet up on this side. Obviously, we shared a lot of time together in Palau. But I'm saying too much, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I was a freshman at recently, and then graduated PMA, went to PMA when I was a sophomore. Graduated there. It was fun. It was actually fun. You were like my best teacher.
Hey, praise the Lord,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, and decided to go to the Army. And here I am, training, about to finish, about to graduate at June 1st.
All right. Congratulations and a big shout out. And just so you guys listening know, Lincoln is one of 5 of his fellow graduating class that has enlisted they're in the Army right now, completing training, getting ready to move on to the next level. So it's been pretty cool seeing them take the things that they've learned to this stage. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself, and hopefully we can get some of the others on the pod in the future, because that would be fantastic as well. Let them know, bro. Let them know. But let's start where we always start. I want to ask you this question. What does mission and service mean to you?
So mission, it goes both ways. It can be religious. It can be like, to me, it means like an objective to what I'm doing. So my mission is basically like do what I'm supposed to do. Like my mission is to be going back to Palau, do different things. Sorry, guys. It's an announcement.
We're live on the base right now. Like, you guys are getting a full experience of my man. He's in his room. I think his roommate's behind him chilling. They're announcing the mail, so you may hear a little bit of this as we continue, but it's all good. This is live. We just keep it real. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and then as I was saying, and service means to me, like basically like doing the work, doing what you need to do it 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Something that you mentioned there that I'm not sure if we've heard before in this description of these two things. And this is what I love, because it's 2 words, and it's the same 2 words that I ask every single person on the podcast, but everyone talks about it in a different way. Yeah. And service is something, for you, it's not just doing something, because anybody can just do something, but you mentioned doing something at 100%. In other words, what I'm getting from this, and you can, if I'm wrong, let me know. If there's something you want to add to it, let me know. What I'm getting from that is that unless you're giving your best effort, that it's not really service. Would that be accurate? In other words, you can do something just to do it, but service is not doing something just to do it. Service is going above and beyond just doing the bare minimum and giving 100%. That's what service is.
Well, yeah, sometimes, but it's like really not service when you don't love to do something.
Yes.
So yes, so if you love to do something, then that's a service, and you do it 100% effort on doing something.
All right, I like that. Yeah. I really like that, because I say that because when it comes to mission in the term of like doing mission work, let me. All right. We keep it real out here, so I just have to say what I gotta say.
Go ahead.
for me as a missionary, I know there are times where I wasn't given 100%. And I know that there were times and things that I had to deal with where I wasn't always loving what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to say for myself that I was giving my best effort or that I was truly engaging in service. And on the flip side of that, it's also been very easy to see. And from your perspective, you probably know this even better than me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for the different amount of teachers and missionary teachers that you've gone through and experienced. It's easy for you to know or to get the sense that someone is not giving 100% effort or
Yes.
not giving everything, that they're kind of just there to be there, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
really there for the people and for you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's, I'm so glad that you brought that up because it's a big thing and it is a struggle. And
It is.
you know,
Really
for,
is.
yes,
It really is.
it's the truth,
Sometimes,
man.
yeah.
And like,
Sometimes you love it, sometimes you don't.
yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think the key is understanding that you're going to have these bumps in the road. You're going to have these experiences that you may not prefer and all this kind of thing. But your ability to bounce back from that is huge. And if you have that goal, you mentioned that mission for you, and this is where this ties into the service. Mission for you is looking at, this is what I'm supposed to accomplish, and this is what I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
The idea being that if you keep that in mind, your end goal and what your purpose is, then
Mm-hmm.
you can get past the speed bumps and you can continue moving forward despite the things that set you back. Is
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fair?
Yes. That. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I like the way that you've presented mission and service to us here. Very different perspective, but I think a very needed one as well.
Yes,
We
coach.
continue. I think by the time we've gone through, it's already been like 10 episodes. I don't know, man. I need to go back and watch everything and record what everyone has said about missions and just kind of put that into one compilation to make
Mm-hmm.
this big definition for it. But anyways, that's another thing for another time.
Yes.
So what was your experience? Tell us a little bit about your experience with missionaries.
So I didn't really have any like I had good ones, and then I didn't really know what missionary means to me. I didn't know who they were. They were like new people to me. They just came from college or new people.
Mm-hmm.
I just came from a Catholic mission school, so I didn't really know what SDA life is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I I went to a SDA school, a PMA school, and basically I went there like not knowing anything.
So it was
Uh,
just a completely new experience for you.
yes,
Okay.
just
Now,
so.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, so like in the previous episode, I think it was episode 5 with Reese, the former student. He was also the same thing. He was in a Catholic school, and he was my classmate at a Catholic
Mm-hmm.
school called Maristella. And
This is
yeah,
elementary level.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And he went to PMA, and I went to Vicente High School, and I transferred to PMA, not knowing anything.
I'm glad you
Yeah,
did, by the way.
hmm which is the best decision of my life.
Hey,
It
let's
helped me.
go.
Yeah, if I stayed in a Catholic school, I probably didn't come to the military, probably didn't think of it.
You know, that's interesting. What what is different within the two schools that you don't think, if you would have continued there, that you would have had the idea to go the military route? Or maybe a better way to ask the question is, what was it about PMA that made you see that this was something that you could do?
Uh, PMA changed me a lot. When I was in Vicente, not like mostly my Catholic school life, I was uh, I was a bad kid. I was
We all have our
uh,
moments.
yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna say what's in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I used to steal. I used to smoke. Uh, used to sneak out of my house sometimes. I was a bad kid. I had like bad influence friends,
Mm.
and when I went to PMA, everything changed. I started to like go through like you and the rest of the people like got me closer to God more. Uh, especially a lot of missionaries. There were a lot of missionaries that helped me go through the Bible and
Mm.
searching what's my religion and stuff. And it's yeah, like especially searching for my religion. You know, about me searching for my religion.
Yes.
uh, yeah, and PMA mostly changed my life a lot completely.
Wow.
And yeah, so if I was in a like if I was stayed at Vicente High School, I'd probably I don't know, probably in jail, probably staying home. I don't know, probably with
Mm.
my dad, probably I don't know, working as
Many,
a construction worker. I don't know.
I'm so glad that you came, and I'm so glad that you've been able to have like such a life-changing experience. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this is what the people need to hear and understand. Like I I love Palau. You can see I got the
Mm-hmm.
flag up. I got my
Yeah,
storyboard hanging on the
yeah.
wall. Like this, I rep Palau to the fullest all day, every day.
He has a lot
But
of storyboards, guys.
a lot
Storyboards.
of
He has
good
like
memories, a lot
four.
of good
He has a
experiences.
sword too. A sword filled with
He's not
storyboards.
lying. He's not lying. But like, you know, I think when people see it, and when people
Mm-hmm.
see the things that I bring back from there, it's more like a novelty, and they think
Mm-hmm.
that, oh yeah, you went to this place, and yeah, like you tell these stories, but it doesn't hit them on like the reality level that I would like it to hit them with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, yeah, you did that, but that's just something you did, and I just did this. When for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like literally the best experience of my life, and I want
Yeah.
to share the fact that I had such a great experience with other people. That's what I want to share, not just that I was somewhere and did something for a few years. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, this is where I had the most awesome experience of my life, and
Life
I want you to
changing. Mm-hmm.
exactly life change for me, just
Mm-hmm.
like you're saying for you, and that's what I want other people to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the tough thing about like trying to rep it so hard. It's like people they don't get it. For
Yeah.
me, it's so hard for me to understand why people would prefer to be in school than to go and travel the world for a year and do
Yes.
something like missions. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. It doesn't make
I
any
also know.
sense to me,
I,
and
I I also had to like get out of my comfort zone to be in the military.
mm,
I
yeah.
wanted to go to school first, but my dad is like, no, you should go to the military. You should try it out. So I was like, fine, fine, I'll do it. And then that was my sophomore year. I didn't want to do it, and then like senior, junior, I started like thinking, oh, maybe I should go to military. Maybe it would change my life.
Mm.
Yeah.
So a change on top of a change. I think that's so
Mm-hmm.
cool that I didn't know that you were thinking about it from since sophomore year.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
did. Me and my cousin Kobe. He's also our classmate.
mhm.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could get both of you guys on a podcast together. I think that'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
At the
Ali,
same time.
I told one of our your student, Ali.
Mhm.
She said she wants to do it.
Yes.
So yeah.
We're
So I
trying
told
to
her.
trying to connect with her too, but it's a little bit different, I guess, where she is right now. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can make that happen. So you had 3 years in the high school there, and it was different from your experience in the other schools. And
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say this before continuing on. Um, my purpose of asking these questions and exploring these conversations is not to put down the other educational system there.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of great things, and there's a lot of awesome students who come out of those systems as well. you
Mm-hmm.
know so I definitely want to make sure that you guys listening understand that what
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to do here is just see how from a student perspective the mission experience has changed and is different, and what is it that we as missionaries coming from our places here in the States, what is it that we contribute that's different than what students are used to experiencing in different schools where they're from. All right, so just want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you guys understand that it's not about trying to say these schools are better than these schools,
Yeah.
although I'm always going to say that Palau Mission Academy is the best, but that I hope you get what I'm saying. Got a little commercial break right here. Want to remind you guys that podcast is available: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. You can find it and check it out. And catch up on these episodes too, because we've been doing them every other week. but I think it's about time to start doing it every week because there's just too many stories. And yeah, you know, I record the stories and it's just too long before they're getting out there. I'm getting antsy about it. So we're going to start trying to make this thing happen every week. It's going to be a sacrifice and it's going to interrupt with my Hebrew practice, but it's going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So given your definition of missions and service, do you think that the missionaries met your definition of it? And why or why not?
Uh, yes. Because of them, they they made me like have a different perspective on a lot of things. Uh, it's just their experience that got me like what should I go through? What should I not go through? The right, the wrong. Yeah. Um, yeah, man. That's how they are. They just came. They completely changed my mentality on things.
I
Yeah.
think I think that's so cool because uh unless you know Lincoln, you're not going to really know this about him. So I'm going to say it like he's a very free-spirited individual. And he's been through a lot and he's experienced a lot, but very rarely do you see him with a negative outlook on his experience. So very similar to Reese. You know, they've been through a lot and they've dealt with a lot of different things, but at least from what I've seen, they don't seem to dwell as much on the negative. They'll have their moments, but they don't let it dictate everything about their experience, which I think is a very admirable trait, especially for you guys that I've seen you had it in high school. There's a lot of people on the college level who something bad happens and you know, that's you know, and that's a whole different discussion because with the way that people are about social media and stuff and all this, it's really superficial type stuff that we deal with today. Like that's one of the things that I like a lot about missions is that you get away from that. And so you get to the reality of what life is like and not the fake world of social media and all this kind of stuff. You get to experience reality in a whole different level and you figure out what real struggles are. I could put it that way.
Oh, speaking of getting out of your mental, like our school is in the middle of nowhere. And most schools, they sneak out, they go wherever they want, they go to the store, they go buy food or something. We're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of forest. Basically nothing. There's no store, no nothing. And that whole place, it's basically like the military. So right now I consider myself like in a lockdown because of Corona. We don't really go anywhere. The only time we go somewhere is like to a PX. It's like a store, military store, where you buy like hygiene products and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, we rarely go there. We get haircuts. We only get haircuts to it's a advanced individual training. Basic training, you have to go bald. Oh, that was worse. That was the worst experience. Being bald and I had a really long hair, really nice thing. Anyways, so yeah, it's like the military. It kind of reminded me of my time in PMA. How like sometimes you have to be like be by yourself, I guess, to like kind of trying to think of what you're gonna do, what's your future, I guess.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have thought to make that comparison, obviously, because I haven't been in the military. But
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like what you're saying is the structure and the environment that you experienced there has
Yes.
prepared you for the structure and environment in the military.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
That's pretty cool, man. That's cool.
Even our parents, even when like the respect here is also like respect back home. You have to like there's ways of how you talk to your sergeants. There's ways of how you do things. Basic training. There's ways to like how you get your food, how you line up in the line, how you like talk to your commanders, your sergeant. There's different ways. It's all up to the rank. Right now, I'm a fuzzy, which is a private, a fuzzy rank. Yeah, and then once I graduate, I'm gonna be an E2, which is a well, yeah, it's private. It's like a private.
Okay.
And yeah, and there's so many things that I learned back home. Is basically like the military is just like my parents taught me a lot of respect. So like I quickly learned when they taught me a lot of things in the military.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to hear.
Cause
That's good to
yeah,
hear.
cause
Because
we have oh
go ahead, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, okay. So we have like 7 morals, which is like I kind of forgot it. I should have forget my morals, but I forgot it. Uh, yeah, and one of them is respect and leadership, and yeah. Oh, personal courage. You always have to have personal courage.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Mhm.
That and you know, from what I had talked about the military, at least my impression of it, I have a such a fascination for it. And
Didn't you want to go to the Air Force?
you called
You
me
said you
out on
wanted.
it. Yeah, like, you know, that's why I came home. Like,
Mhm.
I speaking of wanting to get out of comfort zones, like my whole thing was Palau was very comfortable for me, to be honest.
Mhm.
You know, after
Yes.
being there for so long, it was home. And I say
Mhm.
this probably on every podcast, but I say it again, like I felt more at home in Palau than I do in America.
Yes,
Like, no
sir.
doubt.
Yes, sir.
and and what I did realize within all of that comfort is that if I wanted to take the next step in my personal experience, I had to get out of my comfort zone,
Mhm.
which sounds weird that my comfort zone is somewhere half a world away, but it was. And I knew that if I
Mhm.
wanted to challenge myself to make, you know, the next steps in my experience, that I had to come home and do something that was very uncomfortable, like returning to
Mhm.
school after so many years being out of school, and
Mhm.
then pursuing something like military chaplaincy. Yes, in the Air Force.
Mhm.
Uh, Plans have changed since then. but but you know, God is working, and I've been able to see
Mhm.
how He's setting things up in my life. Still, it's a struggle. There's
Yes,
like a
sir.
daily battles, you know how it goes. But
Mhm.
I'm seeing that big picture goal, and I'm trying to make it my mission to do the best I can to achieve that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, man, you got me out
Yeah.
here reflecting on stuff, bro.
Yeah.
So, tell me some of your favorite missionary moments, some things that missionaries did that you really appreciated.
Oh, there's this one event that really impacted me the most. Remember that time when we were in the chapel? We had that light the way thing, and we had to all of us had to
Oh
say like
yeah,
what
it was the
say.
end of the Bible unit.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember that.
Yes, and basically, I kind of let out all my feelings, all my reflection of how I got into the Bible and stuff. And uh, I, to be honest, boys cry. I cry. I that was I cried, and it kind of helped me go like it helped me like search for God more.
Mm,
Uh, it was um, it was a big change in my life too. It helped me like it helped me pray it more. It helped me read the Bible more.
mm.
And yeah, like when you told me to do this interview, that was the only thing. Like when you said, what's your favorite moment with the missionaries?" That was one of them.
Wow.
That's the only thing I could think of. Like that was the one that impacted me the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Like,
Hmm.
I love that curriculum, and it's so cool because I I was planning that class and I didn't really know how it was gonna go.
Hmm.
I had no idea that you guys were gonna open up the way that you did.
Yes.
I remember when we left at the end of that class and just everyone was just like,
Emotional.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, usually we finish class and everyone's excited to be in the hallways and everyone's yelling and
Hmm.
doing dumb stuff. You know
Uh-huh.
how it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everyone was just quiet. Like,
Hmm.
wow, that had a deep impact on me too.
Yeah. I'm
And thank you for
surprised. Like,
reminding me about that, man.
uh-huh. I was also surprised. Like, I thought it would be like only like two or three people. Everybody share their whole
Yeah.
experience, and we wanted to like. So there was a time limit, and it was time for lunch. Everybody. everybody share, but there's more people that wanted to share more,
Mm-hmm.
and
People didn't want to
yeah,
go.
people didn't want to go. They wanted to stay, share their experience, share their like what they learned through the class,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Man, I miss that. You
Hmm.
know, I don't know if you were there. I think it was my first year,
No, I
uh,
wasn't there.
or it was whatever year that I had the series in chapel called The Life and Times of Corey Johnson. Do you remember that? That may have been my second year. It might have been your
I'm not.
first year.
I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But these conversations that I'm having with you guys,
Hmm.
the reason I love it is not just because the world gets to hear your story, but it's helping me to reflect on just how much of an impact Palau was for me. And
Yes.
I keep saying I'm going to do like a life and time series on the podcast to kind of tell my story as well,
Yeah.
going
Hmm.
through missions and all that. And
Hmm.
man, these things, the impact on them, it's so deep. I get goosebumps listening to you talk about it and just remembering like how it was to sit there and listen and to
Yeah.
be a part of that, man. Like
Yeah.
some of the greatest spiritual experiences I had with students in high school.
Hmm.
And I'm saying that as somebody who I'm a grown man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've been around a lot. I'm in the seminary right now, but the experiences
Hmm.
that I've had here, they just don't measure up to the experiences that I've had there. Like,
Hmm.
oh my goodness, it's so deep.
Oh, one note, guys. Coach Corey cried. There was this one time.
Oh man.
There's this one time we had a retreat. We went to there's this place in Palau called Ngar Along, and
Ah man.
we went to Surang's house, a really big mansion. We were all gathered together, shared our stories, and that's the
Ah
first time I saw for Coach Corey cry.
man. I had forgotten about that one, man. The one I remember that I remember. I'm not going to talk about it.
Exposed.
You exposed me, man. let's just move on to the next question. Move to the next question. All right, so um, within those good moments, there's
Mhm.
always moments that are potentially not so great.
Yeah,
So and you don't have to say any names, you don't have to call
yeah,
anybody out or anything
yeah.
like that. We want to
Uh,
keep it general, but we
mhm.
do want to give people listening a fair idea of what
Yeah,
it is that students look for and that what people kind of expect.
yeah.
So tell me some things that a missionary may have done that made you view them differently or kind of made you lose respect for them or just something like that,
Hmm.
if there's anything.
Um, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one again?
So we're trying to explore if there are things that missionaries may have done that rubbed you the wrong way, that uh, you didn't appreciate. It may have
Oh,
been
so you like my work?
disrespectful.
Oh, so like my worst moments with the
Yeah,
missionaries?
yeah. Hmm.
Mm. Oh, no. Basically, I really like the missionaries. Like for my past 3 years of being in PMA high school. Uh, so every year there's always a change of missionaries,
Hmm.
and that's kind of really cool of seeing like new people, their new experience, like how like their their interest of being in Palau, going to new places.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't really have like worst moments with my missionaries. I mean, that's kind of weird because sometimes I always like some of my like classmates they would like hate, but sometimes I don't really hate a person. I may dislike them sometimes, but no, like I never had the worst moment with missionaries because at the end of the day, like Chris said, his class is like we're learning something, and
Hmm.
without them, we wouldn't be learning something.
I love that mentality,
And
man.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, hmm,
And I can't even lie. Based on some of the conversations that I've had with other people and former missionaries, there's something for me to learn from what you guys have been saying.
hmm,
Like, honestly, just because I'm the one putting on the podcast does not mean I have all the answers, does not mean I'm perfect, because I'm not.
Yeah,
And I don't.
yeah. That's nobody's perfect.
Exactly. And I'm learning. And if you were to ask me what are my favorite things to do, on the
Mm-hmm.
near the top of that list is going to be learning. It never would
Mm-hmm.
have been up there before, but now it is.
Exactly.
And even from you guys, like the students become the teacher. And
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, for those of you who are thinking of being missionaries, I think that's a good mentality to have. Realize that, yes, you are going out there to make a difference. Yes, you are going out there to do something, but the bigger impact is more likely going to happen to you if you let it. The bigger,
Yes.
I spent 5 years in Palau.
Mm-hmm.
What I received and what was done for me is more than what I could have ever given in those 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not even close. It's not even
Mm-hmm.
close. Like I have, praise God, I have great experiences with students, and a lot of students, they'll throw my name out there when they talk about good moments, and I'm thankful for that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that I've done, nothing that I could have done that is weighed more than than their impact on me. And that's facts. Like that's big
Mm-hmm.
facts right there. I'm not even saying that to
Amen.
it's just the truth. They had more of an
Mm-hmm.
impact on me than I think I could ever have
Mm-hmm.
on them.
Yeah.
Just the reality.
So like what I learned from these missionaries, their most impact of when they first come to a missionary school is what I heard is the students. The students completely changed their life. And yeah, so some people would say that the missionaries impacted their life, and some missionaries say the students impacted their life. But most of all, like the the missionaries that's upcoming to go to Palau, like they should experience like what's there, or who what like what's new. They
Mm-hmm.
might not know about it, but once they go there, I bet they're not gonna regret it. Like how you first went there, you didn't regret it at first.
Absolutely not.
Like yeah, and I bet they're not gonna regret it. I bet like the missionaries now that went to PMA, I don't even know them. They love PMA,
Mm-hmm.
and I bet they really loved Palau when they first went there. And yeah, I I encourage like all missionaries that hear this podcast like to learn something new, which is basically what you said. Like you need to learn something, and learning something gets you to a new mindset. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Man, that's so cool. That's so cool. What would you say are the biggest things that you learned from missionaries?
Um, Biggest thing is they know, like their experience with their lifestyle is how they compare it with God, and God is like
Mm.
their number one priority. And I didn't really know God at first. I was a Catholic. I thought I knew God,
Mm.
but but no, when I went to PMA, they their experience like is more different, and it really impacted their lives, and how God impacted their lives, and it kind of made me really interested.
That's so
And yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
It's such a testimony because, man, missionaries, I think when people hear like me trying to convince people, or missions offices and departments in different schools trying to convince people, I really
Hmm.
don't know that people understand the impact a missionary can have. I
Yeah,
really
they
don't
really
know,
do. Hmm.
because it just seems like if if every if every person here in a college setting, if they understood the kind of impact that they could have even from just a year being over there,
Hmm.
I I don't know how you could turn that opportunity down.
Yes,
You know
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying? Like, and
if 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 they asked me to be a missionary, I would be a missionary and
hey,
teach
that's what
new
I'm talking
people.
about.
Yeah, even though I'm not an SDA, if they ask me to be a missionary, I will.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm glad you brought that up,
Mhm.
because a lot of people, and this is coming from students, they actually said, "Oh well, I'm not SDA, so I don't know if you want me on your podcast." And I said, "Wait a
See,
second. This is not about being SDA. This is
yeah,
about mission and service. You
exactly.
don't have to be Adventist to do that. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be SDA to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are exploring is the impact that missionaries have had and how anybody can experience that regardless of what religious background or even non-religious background that you may have. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that's the most beautiful thing about mission and service, is that anybody can do it and anyone can
Mm-hmm.
experience that. And I have to say, if I was just looking for people who I thought were going to have great answers for every question
Mm-hmm.
that I would ask, that'd be a very
Mm-hmm.
boring and that'd be a lie. That wouldn't even be a real podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're
So
trying to
like,
get real here.
mm-hmm.
So
so like, so like when I first went to PMA, sorry, another announcement.
got commercial break number 3 here. Want to remind you guys once again, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share this with somebody. Know the mission. Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
Apple, Google, Pocket Casts. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find it anywhere in the world. YouTube as well. You can see it. And seriously, like, I know I'm gonna be real here. I know some of you guys see it when I post it on like social media and you like the picture, but I also know you didn't listen to the podcast. So don't just like the picture, listen to the podcast, experience it. Don't just like it and just like it, share it and
Don't
show it to
just look at the
somebody
book and
else.
read the. Don't just look at the book and read the title and then say, "Oh, I read
Yes. Thank you.
it."
That's what it's gonna take to get this message out there, guys. Like we can do a little more. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We got
Oh,
time. People still in quarantine. You got time to give a few minutes to listen to these awesome stories and experiences of people. You got time. So
mm.
All
So
right,
like,
anyway.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyways, so like, speaking of like going to missionary, so like when I first went to PMA, my like former classmates from Catholic school, they're like, "You're not SDA, so why you should go to that school?" Or I
Mm.
would hear like, "You're not Asian," because most of the people there are like Asians. They're like, "You're not Asian, so why are you going to a really smart school?" So I was like, "What?" Like the school, every school is different, and they also have different teachings and yeah, like they shouldn't be comparing to like, oh, this school is this or this person is that or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it shouldn't be like comparison to anything. Everybody's the same. It's just the way they learn is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like their perspective is different. So
Mm-hmm.
I my dad like my dad like really wanted me to go to PMA. At first, I didn't want to. I admit I wanted to stay at the Miss T, but my dad said no. You should try it out. And I cried. I cried to my dad. I said no, I don't want to go to PMA. I said just try it out, son. And yeah, I bet you're gonna like it. So I did. I went to PMA. I was silent, but I knew some people, so I only talked to the like small amount of people, and it just got bigger and bigger, and then it affected my life, and here I am right now.
I love it, man. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to, you've been able to see even within 3 years of being a student in the schools there, you've seen
Yeah,
a lot of missionaries, and you
yeah.
mentioned that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what are things that you think, if there was like a couple things that any missionary should really know before coming to Palau, what's something that they should know?
Um, I don't know, like students, they be thinking different. They would be thinking like, oh, this person would be like this person. So like example, me and my classmates, we had this teacher. Her name is Miss Ford. She was a really nice teacher. She was an English teacher, and just to find out that we're gonna have a new teacher. Her name is Miss Hannah. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
to Miss Hannah. Uh, and then so like we're like, oh no, we're probably not gonna like her. We're not gonna do this. And yeah, and Miss Ford said you're gonna like her. And when she left, we were kind of sad. And
Mm.
Miss Hannah came. Miss Hannah came, and we were in class. She introduced herself. I for me, I just went there to learn, so I didn't really mind. But but as the time goes on, like as a senior, and having Miss Hannah to be like our chaplain because she had to leave,
Mm-hmm.
and like Miss Hannah being an English teacher, it was a nice experience. And people always think like, oh, this person should be like this teacher. And no, I don't want that kind of perspective. I want like,
Mm.
oh, I'm gonna learn something. So when these teachers come, like I'm gonna have a new experience with that teacher, and that would be nice for me.
Okay.
And yeah, I shouldn't be expecting anything from a different missionary if I was looking up for a missionary.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, there's a perspective that can happen on both sides. For the students, it's tough, and they do a really good job of adapting to and appreciating new teachers every single year, which to me is
Yeah.
that's an incredible feat in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
on the missionary side, as you're coming in, understand that you're coming uh, after people who have done the same thing before you, but it doesn't mean that you have to be exactly the same as the people before you.
Yes,
You can
because
be
people
your
are
own
different.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the students will appreciate you and they'll love you for being
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the most important things, like, because I've seen it where people have tried to be like exactly like the teachers that
Yeah.
came before them, and it doesn't work
Yeah.
because it's too much work to try to do that. It's easier to just
Mm-hmm.
be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Because
So that's great advice.
yeah. Yeah, it's like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I miss Coach Corey. Coach Corey should be the chaplain." Because I know a lot of people are saying that right now, and uh, here's Coach Corey doing greater things now. Um, and
I don't
then
know
the new
about
chap,
greater, but different things.
yeah, different things. Yeah, yeah, and Miss Hannah being the new chaplain, which is I don't know what's different now,
Hmm.
but as of I know, like they really like Miss Hannah. Miss Hannah is a really good teacher, and yeah, and they didn't really expect like, oh, maybe Coach Corey will be better than Miss Hannah and those kind of stuff.
Good.
As time goes on, they will like the teacher. And,
Hmm.
yeah.
I'm so glad you bring that up because we were
Mhm.
talking about this with Mr. Ramirez
Yeah.
uh, a few episodes back, and
Mm.
it's such a true point. Like, even for somebody like me, yeah, I've been in Palau for 5 years, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I'm the best of the best of the missionaries and that, my name needs to be remembered forever there. No,
Uh
like,
huh. Yeah.
the work is bigger than me. I
Mhm.
was there for the time that I was there and I loved it.
Mhm.
But if I'm hoping to go down as the best, then that's the wrong mentality, because what I'm really saying is that I hope that everyone who comes after me is worse than me. And why would I
Mm.
want that for the students that I love? I want the students that I love to have better than I was
Yeah.
every year. And I think every missionary should think the same thing. Like, want the
Yeah.
best
Mhm.
for your students even after you leave. Do the best that you can so that you can leave your legacy, so to speak. But
Yeah.
at the same time, wish for the people who come after you to do better and to be better so that the students can have the best experience possible from missionaries.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think it's worth it for missionaries to go and to serve?
Oh, for you, it was the waters, right? The island. It was worth like they. It should be worth it. I mean, for them, should be the students, the islands,
Mhm.
uh, being like Miss Hannah facing her fears to dive.
Hey.
Um, yeah, everything's like it should be worth it, and new is worth looking for. And
Mhm.
I would be scared. I would be scared to like search for something new. And sometimes we just gotta like slow down, bend down, and like pray like what am I getting into? Um, yeah, like, well, then just I yeah, that's all I can say.
What I'm getting from that is that um this idea of the comfort zone. There's a
Yes,
lot of people who are comfortable where they are,
yes,
but to experience greater growth and to experience these
yeah,
new things, that's how you become better versions of yourself.
hmm,
And from what you're saying, it sounds like you've been able to see how both missionaries and students become better versions of themselves because of this mission experience.
yes. Seeing new
I like that.
people, seeing
I
new
like that.
mentalities. Yeah,
Hmm.
some
I
people would be scared to search or to like see something new, but
Mhm.
Once they do it, they be like, oh, I didn't, sorry. I should be doing this. I shouldn't be regretting this. This is a good life experience. And
Mhm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting because your I think of this idea of missionaries going to serve. And then the thing that also pops into my head is your reaction when your dad told you to try out PMA.
Yes.
I feel like it parallels so perfectly because people are so used to being in a place where they're comfortable. They don't want to experience anything new.
Uh-huh.
They don't know what that experience is going to be about. You may
Yeah.
have seen other people that have gone to PMA and other school and they talked about it, but it wasn't something that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And yet you were convinced and you finally accepted and you said, all right, I'm going to do it. And it turned out to be one of the greatest things you've
Grace.
accomplished and experienced in your life.
Yes.
And I feel the same way about missions. It's the same thing.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can have that fear, but you
Mm-hmm.
got to get past that. Like you may have heard what people have experienced there and you might think, oh, that's not for me. But
Mm-hmm.
if growth is not for you, then what is the purpose of living?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's
So
not about trying to become better versions of ourselves, then what
mhm.
is our purpose for being
Yeah, it's like you just gotta try it to get the experience. You know, if you don't like the experience, then try another one.
here? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's simple. It's not that complicated, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to ask this, even though I think it's overwhelmingly clear from our conversation. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that missionaries really make a difference?
They really do. In my opinion, they really do. Some people they will not. They will. But for me, it really helped me a lot. Helped me see better things. And yeah, and it was the best decision of my life to hang out with missionaries, see what they experience, see what's new. And it's like for a young kid going to an old adult and be like asking for advice, what they
Hmm.
did in their life. And yeah, missionaries impacted my life as I got on through. And yeah.
Hey, and I think, you mentioned that being at PMA was the greatest experience in your life. Being in
Mm-hmm.
Palau was the greatest experience in mine. No,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that's ever gonna go beyond that. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what I end up doing. It doesn't matter what I end up accomplishing. Uh, that being there,
Mm-hmm.
you already know. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna start crying though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks waiting for bus rides and waiting for being in the standing out there singing the national anthem
In the sun,
in the
especially as an
sun.
underclassman.
Yeah,
Good
and
times, man. I
be
miss them.
like looking at the upperclassmen, be like, oh, they suck. They stand us under the
They
roof,
got the
and then
shade.
when we stand there, and then we like, oh, look at this underclassman standing in the sun.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
love it. Oh man,
yeah.
I miss it, man. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Lincoln, man.
Rough times.
Rough time. Oh man, you know it. You know
Uh-huh.
it. Hey, I gotta thank you for taking some time. I know you're busy with everything you got going on
Oh no, no, it's
with the
fine, it's fine.
military, and I'm just
Yes,
glad that
sir.
you got the time to spend with us here on this podcast, man.
Uh-huh.
This was great, and it's doing my soul well going into this weekend, man, for
Yes,
real.
coach. Mm-hmm. Yes, coach.
And for everybody listening, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Go the Mission. Once again, this is your host, Corey Johnson. I had been saying for a while that every other weekend a new podcast was going to drop, but we're going to start trying to do it every week.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get enough. The experiences and the people I'm talking to, I'm getting so encouraged and inspired myself that I don't feel like I can wait every other weekend for this. So we're going to try to step
Mm-hmm.
our game up around here. So whatever platform you're listening, tuning in on, like, subscribe, and share it, and do it for real. Don't just say you'll do it for real, because we
Mm-hmm.
got to get the mission out there. All right. If
Yes,
you have
sir.
any questions about missions, or you're wondering how to be a missionary, let me know. You can reach me by email using gothemission@gmail.com, or drop a comment or message through social media or YouTube. And finally, remember, to exist, it's not enough. We out here to be out here. Until next time, peace.
Yes. Peace.